the All Aboard podcast. I'm Laura, and I'll be your host today. I'm the only person on this podcast, so no one else is hosting it. Sorry. Welcome to the first episode of my podcast. This is going to be interesting because something that you should know about me is I have a really hard talking about any subject for more than 5 minutes. So this might be like a 10-minute long podcast, and that would be impressive for me. So we're just going to kind of go with it, see how long I can make this. I have a lot of stuff to talk about, but I feel like I don't feel like I'm a concise speaker, but I just I get my thoughts across and I'm like, okay, I'm done talking. So, I would like to try to do a podcast. So if this works out, yay. So I have a few things to talk about today. So a little background about me. I am a freelance storyboard artist and digital artist. I create storyboards, animatics, and I really like the storytelling in art. That's the thing I'm most excited about. And I would just want to talk about a few of the projects I've been working on. I want to talk about my favorite sketchbook and why maybe you should try it out, and also maybe some just D&D and fun media related things today. So let's get into it. I want to talk about the sketchbook first, I think, because I really like this kind of sketchbook, and I feel like other people maybe should try it and be helpful. So as a freelance artist, you're not just drawing all day. There's a lot of note taking going on, and I realized that whenever I started freelancing this year, there's a lot of note taking that goes on. You need to remember dates, you need to remember specific requests, what the style is going to be, ratios, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of things to remember. And I never really used a journal until I started freelancing, because I didn't really need to. I just used sketchbooks. But this year I started freelancing, and the first job didn't really have very many specific details, but the second job I was in the phone call with them, listening to what they needed and stuff, and I was just writing. I had a huge marker because I forgot to get a pen to write notes, so I was just scrawling across the page, and I took 7 pages of notes. But the nice thing was, I didn't just take I didn't just take the notes in a normal lined journal. I took the notes in a bullet journal, and a bullet journal a lot of times has dotted lines instead of actual lines, so that there's a lot more flexibility with drawing or writing in it. And because of that, I was able to go through the project and do thumbnails of each frame in the storyboard, and then I was able to make little notes as well. And that was a really, really nice, easy thing for me to do. So after that, I realized that bullet journals are basically my favorite kind of sketchbook. And there are a lot of reasons for this. One, because I just love the dots. They're very, very faint and not very easy to see. So they're just visible enough to have lines for writing, but they don't interfere with drawing or anything, and that's what I really, really like about it. If you're listening to this, I'm just showing pages of my sketchbook, which is also going to be on my Instagram. So the main benefits of having a bullet journal is, if you are a freelance artist or you have a lot of story ideas or writing and stuff that you have to keep up with while you're being an artist, this is a really, really nice and easy way to combine your art and your writing in one place. I like the combination of both. It's really, really nice. Also, it's pretty small. The dimensions are really nice. It's a really nice size for sketching and writing. And the paper, at least with this bullet journal, is pretty thick, but not too thick, just the right amount so that pens don't bleed through it, which I really, really love. And I just love taking my thoughts down on the fly and being able to have it wherever I go. Maybe this is weird. Maybe most people don't just journal on the go, but I like writing down my thoughts while I'm out, or I'm getting coffee or something. I like having the ability to write down my thoughts and sketch people at the same time at a coffee shop, because that's sometimes when I have the most creative ideas, when I'm just sitting there alone, drinking my coffee or something like that. So I love the combination of those two. And obviously a sketchbook, is a very personal thing. Like a lot of people, there are different variations and people have different tastes. But if you are someone who writes a lot and also draws a lot, I would definitely suggest getting a bullet journal. I'm going to try to find this specific kind and link it below. I believe it's made out of fake leather, so it's vegan friendly. And it is very nice. The colors are really nice as well. Here's another one. This is the one that I've already filled up. And definitely filled it up, used it quite a bit. These obviously are not going to be for everyone, but if you write a lot and you draw a lot, I definitely recommend them. Down below, guys, if you link your favorite sketchbook or talk about what your favorite kind of sketchbook is, that would be so great. Yeah, I think that all is really fun. I feel like because this is a storyboarding podcast, I should talk about the storyboards I'm working on currently, and I don't know if anyone else will find this interesting. I'm just going to talk about it, and hopefully it will be interesting. I, for the last 8 months, have been working on a storyboard for a client on Upwork. This was the first ever storyboard I ever made. I had no experience prior, and the storyboard is 24 scenes long. It's very, very long. And the client didn't really know how long it would take, and I didn't really know how long it would take, so this project ended up being a lot longer than either of us expected, and I'm not really getting paid the fair amount because they couldn't really pay to hire someone for 8 months to finish something. So we worked it out where I would not get paid the full amount, but I would get to decide. I would get to have a more relaxed schedule so that it could be more of a part-time thing, so I could still focus on other projects, and they have been totally fine with that. So it's been a really side project I've been working on, and I'm almost finished with it. Finally, I'm so close to being done, and I'm so excited. Upwork is so hard and frustrating, and I don't even know how I got this job. It was definitely luck, kind of. I had no prior experience. I didn't know what I was doing. And that's the thing about Upwork is you kind of have to be lucky the first time you get a job, or you have to be a professional who has years of experience. And that was not me. So I kind of got lucky. And yeah, I don't really... it's hard when you're in a situation where you're grateful for the opportunity, but also the opportunity is starting to kind of drag you down and make you frustrated and anxious and depressed. And that's kind of what this project has turned into, because obviously I'm not getting paid enough for the work. And it's taken a lot of time out of my day. But the thing about Upwork is that reviews are extremely important. They're how you get a job, how you get the second job, the third job. That's how you get jobs. And I need reviews on my profile. And I like the client a lot. I don't want to abandon them. So I just decided to stick it out and just do it and see what happens. So this November, I have said to myself, I am finishing this project in November because I cannot handle another month of this. Also, when I started this was 8 months ago, I was a much worse artist because, I've had 7 months of practicing art and doing figure drawing and anatomy and just studying and stuff. And the project has not caught up with my skill level, because when you start a project, the style has to be, the style of the project needs to be consistent throughout. And that means whenever I go back to work on the project, I kind of have to regress somewhat in my skill level to keep the art consistent, unless I go through the whole project again, which would take me another 7 months. And that's not possible for me to do. So I'm kind of struggling with the pull between being a better artist and trying to make a good product. And it's kind of hard to reconcile that when you don't have resources and time. So that is something that I'm definitely struggling with. I'm trying to make it the best I can be. I'm trying to make it the best it can be with having a consistent style. But I'm just really looking forward to it being done and having a good review on my profile so I can get more jobs. And I think that's okay. I don't think you as a freelance artist have to be in love with every single project. I feel like that's not realistic until you're at the level where you get to decide what clients you get. I think it's fine to be like, oh, this project, I'm glad I have the opportunity. I'm glad that I'm getting the money, even though it's not very much. I'm glad that they gave me this opportunity, but at the same time, either the story is a little bit weird, or the style isn't what I exactly wanted, or, I don't have enough time to finish this the way I wanted to. It's okay to not be in love with every single freelance project that you have. I don't think, at least I don't have the energy to love, absolutely love every single project I work on, because, that's not really your job. It's the job of the client to love it and be like, this is my baby. Your job is to look at it objectively and try to figure out how to finish it in a timely manner and make it look good. So yeah, I'm almost done. I'm so close to being done. And I can't wait till it's done, because it's driving me a little bit crazy. So yeah. If you guys have any stories about terrible clients or client deadlines or stuff like that, I would love to hear it, because I think everyone would benefit from those discussions. So let's go on to the nuts topic. Let's go on to the next topic. So I feel like there's a stereotype about artists where we don't get enough sleep, and I feel like that's a very valid stereotype. I've dealt with insomnia for like half of my life, basically, and not being able to sleep really affects your productivity and the amount you can draw. So for a while I had been taking a sleep supplement, and then I went vegan, and the sleeping supplement wasn't vegan, so I stopped taking it. And that was like a year ago. And then I decided to go back on a sleeping supplement, but this time it's just melatonin, and it's a vegan supplement. And since I've been taking it, I've had a lot better sleep. As long as I go to bed at 10, which is my bedtime. And guys, bedtimes are hard to stick to. Like, I feel like, does anyone else experience this? Like, I feel like I get like all my good ideas like at 10 exactly, and then I'm like, oh, I have to go write down all my ideas, and then it's like 11, and you're like, oh, oops. I feel like that's what happens to me. Like, I get like all my good ideas, like not when I'm sleeping, but right before I go to bed, and it keeps me from going to sleep, and that's not good. I also get a lot of my good ideas whenever I'm taking a walk. So trying to incorporate a good sleeping schedule and a good exercise routine into your day is really important, and really does help you with your artwork, even though it might not be like a direct correlation. At least for me, when I'm well rested and have a good exercise routine, it just makes me way more productive and makes me feel like I can accomplish a lot more things. On the subject of exercise, I have been going on a walk about 5 days out of the week, every single week, except for 1 week where I was sick. I've been going on walks, and I deal with chronic fatigue and stuff, so the exercise I do, I kind of have to gauge how I'm feeling that day and kind of decide how long the walk's going to be. But the main thing is that I go outside. It can be a 15-minute walk, it can be an hour-long walk. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not going to say, oh, that's a bad walk or that's a good walk. As long as I go outside, that's a win for me, in my opinion. Also, sorry if I'm breathing really hard. I think I'm having a little congestion, so that's nice. I've really enjoyed incorporating that into my life. Another subject I want to talk about with storyboards is I finally started making my original storyboards, not based on anything, not a fan animatic or for a client. I've started making animatics that I personally wrote, and that has been so much fun. It reminds me why I love doing storyboards, because whenever you're doing storyboards for other people, sometimes it can be kind of a slog, and you're like, oh, the writing isn't that great, or oh, I don't know what this style is or something. But whenever you just let yourself create your own animatic, your own storyboard, just the creativity is unleashed, and you get to do literally whatever you want, and that's why I love it so much. Yeah, the one I'm working on right now started as kind of a client request, and they kind of ghosted me, so I was like, I'm just gonna make it my own thing. And they didn't give me any story direction, so I just basically let go of their ideas and just started making my own animatic. It's about a spider trying to drink someone's coffee. Kind of like a Tom and Jerry scenario. I love that show. I love that show so much. And I'm kind of learning how to storyboard comedic things, and comedic timing and stuff like that, because that's a lot That's what a lot of storyboards entail, especially for cartoon animation, stuff like that. Because a lot of the storyboards I had been boarding before that had very serious content or like important content, like they weren't for animation specifically. They were like their own thing, like their own animatics. So I didn't really get to play around with like timing or comedy or like that kind of thing. So I'm really enjoying like playing around and figuring out how to add that into a storyboard. Hopefully I'm going to release that before the end of the year. I want to. I really want to. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I want to. So yeah, if you're interested in that, you can follow me. You can subscribe down below to maybe get that video. So yes. I'm really excited about it. I think it's gonna be really good. Everyone I've showed the storyboard to has liked it so far, so hopefully the animatic will be good, I'm assuming. So a few like fun, like just game related notes. So I love playing D&D, and I somehow found myself DMing 2 games, which, you know, is kind of a time commitment. So today I'm gonna have to be doing some writing for one of the games, and I actually started a new game recently with some improv friends, and it's been really fun, and I've had a lot of fun writing it. No one in the game besides me had played D&D before, so that's interesting. I think it's always great for artists to have like a hobby or something that they do besides art, because otherwise I feel like you need to express creativity in lots of different forms so that you can get new ideas. That always helps me whenever I do a little bit of writing, a little bit of art, you know, and some improv. I just think it's good to combine those and kind of spread them out, because that's what gets you a lot of new ideas, in my opinion. So yeah, I've been putting a lot of creative juices into that, creating a new world, creating a new setting, and, you know, those storylines and everything. I like the goblin tunnels. Like, I like having like goblin tunnels and goblins as like your first enemy you fight. I just like goblins a lot. I was inspired by the first arc of the Adventure Zone. I really like that arc a lot. So I'm really excited about the game, and I love it so much. I feel like, I don't know if anyone else who plays D&D feels like this, but like sometimes I'm like surprised that other people want to play D&D with me. It's like, oh, you like, that's something you want to do? Like, wow, like I feel so honored, you know, because, you know, it's a time commitment, and, you know, it's kind of hard to explain if you've never played it before, and it can be a little bit awkward until you really get to know the people in the group. And so I just feel really like grateful that they even want to play with me, because, you know, it is like kind of, it's hard to explain, and, you know, D&D is a little bit hard to get into, and so hopefully I made it easy for the people that are playing to get into it, because, you know, they hadn't played before. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. So the last few things I wanted to talk about is a few podcasts and creators that I really like right now. So these are really like kind of mainstream as far as D&D content, but so Critical Role is like literally my favorite show ever. If all other media died, I'd be fine with that as long as Critical Role was around. So the arc they're on right now is like so stressful, and, you know, I don't know, I'm just so excited about it, and I'm really interested to see what Ashley comes back, like when she comes back, if she'll come back as Yasha or if she'll come back as a new character. Like, what's gonna happen? I don't know. Obviously worried about Caduceus a lot. No, like, spoilers for the recent episode, like 80 something, but like, why would you stab Caduceus? I don't understand. Like, I'm wondering if like the assassin is like specifically trying to kill Caduceus, and if so, is there like an organization after him? Like, did he do something? Like, what? Or is it just like, oh, I'm gonna stab one of the party members? But like, everything Matt does is intentional, so I think, I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm just really stressed. And also the Adventure Zone, I've been going through the first campaign they did, and I'm on episode 36, I think, with the Crystal Kingdom. And I like the Adventure Zone. I like the characters a lot, but sometimes it's really hard for me to understand what's happening visually in the podcast, because I think sometimes I have a hard time following what's happening, because like there's a lot of shenanigans going on so it's hard for me to understand what's happening. But I've kind of gotten back into it, and I'm definitely listening to it. I'm actually listening to it when I'm going to sleep every night, and it's really calming and relaxing. So if you need something to listen to, definitely recommend. Also, I'm torn because, the Adventure Zone, they released their new campaign, DM'd by Travis, called Graduation, and I started listening to the first episode, and it was really, really cool and interesting, and I really liked it. But then I was like, oh, but I should finish all the other episodes before watching it. And then I was torn because I was like, no, I want to watch that one. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I should do, because I like their new campaign a lot, and I love Justin's character so much. He's so cool. I haven't even finished the first episode, but I love it. I love all their characters so much. So I don't know what to do. Should I listen to them simultaneously? I don't know. Maybe you guys can give me some advice below. I started listening to their campaign because of a video by there's a YouTuber, Sarah. I don't remember her last name, or I don't remember her YouTube channel name, but she did a video on the podcast that the McElroys do. That she talked about all their podcasts and how inclusive they are and how amazing their story is. And I was like, yep, I'm gonna go listen to that now, and definitely like their podcasts, especially their D&D podcast. I don't listen to podcasts all that much. There are a few I listen to, and definitely the Adventure Zone is one of them. I am a very visual person, so it is easier for me to follow along if there's audio with the D&D thing, but I also understand it's a lot easier to record a D&D podcast than to record everyone with the cameras and stuff. I understand it's a lot easier just to do audio. So I really like the Adventure Zone a lot, and I'm really excited to see what happens in it. Don't spoil it for me, okay, guys? I can't help it if you do, but please don't. Yeah, and I think that was all I wanted to talk about. I don't know how long this will be after I edited it. But I'm getting to 30 minutes when I've recorded it, so that's impressive for me, okay? That's a good length for me, okay? I'm impressed with myself. If you've listened this far, thank you. I'm impressed that you listened this far. And why don't you tell me down below your favorite podcast? Because I'm always looking for podcast recommendations. I have specific tastes, but if there's a good podcast, I want to listen to it. If you're a storyboard artist, tell me down below, share your work. I want to go see it. I love looking at storyboards all day, thumbnails, everything. It's so good. And yeah, if you want to follow more of my stuff, you can subscribe down below, and then you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those will be linked down below as well. And yeah, I had a lot of fun recording this. This worked out a lot better than I thought it would. So also, if you have any suggestions for the next topic to discuss in the storyboarding podcast, let me know, because I'm always looking for suggestions. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye. 30 minutes, yay.